Hello everyone, it's Tania Gabrielle here, Wealth Astro-Numerologist, and welcome to Star Codes. This is the podcast where we look at an upcoming event in the stars and numbers, the Astrology and Numerology, to gain insight so that we are prepared and able to rise to the occasion in the most high vibrational way possible. And in this case, we are going to look at a very, very big event that happens in mid to late May. It actually begins around the 16th of May, and that is when Jupiter enters Taurus and then unfolds in a major way where Jupiter moves into a position with Pluto and Mars, which will be opposite each other, and all three planets will be exactly at 0 degrees in their respective new signs. So this is actually really amazing, very powerful, and really will touch on faith, being fearless, moving forward, and having the fortitude to not move back, but move into a position where you feel the inner strength guiding you every step of the way. So it's a really big, transcendent, and transformational time. And like I said, very intense, very fiery. So let's begin with the fact that Jupiter is changing signs, moving from Aries into Taurus on May 16th. Now, Jupiter takes 12 years to move through the zodiac, the 12 signs, approximately 12 years. So it stays about a year in each sign. And so it's been in Aries for a year, now moving into Taurus until May 24th of 2024. So what makes this change of signs so stunning is that Pluto, as you probably recall, recently moved into Aquarius at 0 degrees and stayed at 0 degrees and then stationed retrograde on May 1st and is now moving slowly back into Capricorn. But it will be at 0 degrees until June 11th. So that means Jupiter's change of signs into Taurus will create a powerful square between these two planets. Now, when Pluto and Jupiter get together, it's really exciting for the most part because this is considered a wealth connection. So whether it is a conjunction or a square, which it is in this case, an opposition, a sextile, a trine, it's really, for the most part, helpful. Now, everything is coming up regarding your beliefs. Having a sense of, are my beliefs based on something that was taught to me, which usually the beliefs are from the past, it's something that's handed down to you and taught you something about what to believe in. And it's the difference between believing in something and having faith. And faith is a surrender to the divine flow, to the divine intelligence, to divine timing. So where Jupiter rules faith and wisdom and the expansion of energy, Pluto rules life, death, transformation. So what you believe to be true is definitely going to be rapidly shifting at this time, and it will address any imbalances as well. So why am I saying in terms of the beliefs in the past is because Pluto is in Aquarius, which is the sign of the future, moving forward. So this is an extraordinary time since Pluto hasn't been in Aquarius in 248 years and just recently entered and is going back and forth due to the retrograde cycle between Aquarius and Capricorn for the next year and a half. But it is in Aquarius when Jupiter enters Taurus. So there is a real sense of getting self-awareness about what is a hand-me-down belief, which is usually the case, it's something that has been taught, versus having faith. Then Mars comes around to add to the big occasion. And Mars is quick, Mars is fiery, Mars does not waste time, Mars gets directly to the point. So here's Pluto governing everything that is unseen, the mysterious, things you research, profound discoveries, realizations, uncovering things that people have been wondering about. So archaeological discoveries, for example, bringing truth to the surface in any way. It is a very political planet, is connected to politics, and it's also named after plutonium because it was discovered at the same time in the 1930s, I believe. It governs for fission and fusion, psychology, destruction, and rebirth. So it's a very intense planet. Now, when it's opposite the fire of Mars, which symbolizes direct, dynamic action, courage, it can be either aggressive or assertive, fiery, dynamic. It's incredibly fast-moving, as I was saying. So Mars opposite Pluto, which occurs every 2 years or so, is even more accentuated because of Jupiter being in between, forming this T-square and enhancing, expanding everything. So that makes it much more powerful and notable. Jupiter will bring some positive energy, aside from hugely amplifying the opposition between Mars and Pluto. It will also bring a sense of faith and joy into the equation and a sense of empowerment. So it can go both ways. It can go into you feeling triggered, or it can go to you feeling totally empowered. And you can experience both. So what we're going to focus on here is how you can make this time a hugely productive time, abundance-wise, leadership-wise, confidence-wise, moving out of the past ways that have held you back into very dynamic, profoundly inspired, and truth, integrity generated forward momentum. And your values are very much on the table here because Jupiter just moved into Taurus. It will be at 0 degrees Taurus. And Taurus is all about your values, and it also governs financial flow. So when Jupiter and Pluto come together, the two planets, when they interact, bringing abundance, while Jupiter enters the sign Taurus, which governs financial flow, you can see there are many opportunities here in addition to the challenges. So there is a sense, though, of the inevitable with Mars, which adds to the element of also impatience or being short-tempered, right? So you need to be very aware that Mars entering Leo, a fire sign, opposite Pluto in Aquarius, an air sign. Air and fire are quick-moving elements. So it will heat up for a few days. And I'm talking about between the 17th of May and especially the 19th and 20th and 21st. And then it starts dissipating, even though Mars will square Jupiter on the 23rd, very early in the morning, Universal Time, 22nd in the Americas. The events will happen quickly, suddenly, unexpectedly, and it will bring to the surface things that have been already simmering prior to this time. So just keep that in mind. So whatever appears now as a result of this T-square between Pluto and Mars opposite each other and then Jupiter in the middle is just going to amplify and basically make it unavoidable that you look at underlying dynamics that were put into play prior to this time and now need to be addressed. So there's really no way out of this because Pluto will uncover the truth, Mars will go directly to the destination, Jupiter will give you the faith and expand your vision so you see. Everything is seen, nothing is avoided, everything's brought to your attention. And remember too that Mercury stationed direct on May 14th, just a week prior to all of this, even a few days prior to this. And that means energy is moving forward again, but also the clarity and the understanding and the ability to communicate is flowing in a way that allows this fast-moving energy to express itself. If you are feeling challenged, if your buttons are being pushed in some way, make sure to take your time and sleep on whatever is being discussed or needs to come to a decision, because you want to respond after this big fireworks display is finished. Mars in Leo, that is fire and fire. Leo is a fire sign, Mars a fire planet. And so you want to take a rain check and immerse yourself in a calm, warm, cozy environment so you can reassess, you can reflect, you can get grounded. And you want to do this before proceeding, deciding, acting, communicating, responding, if you feel triggered. Okay, so just know this is deeply intense energy, and that may be a possibility. And it's not that you won't make a decision, it's the manner in which you convey the decision, deliver it, and the way you feel it. So you will act, and in doing so, be assertive rather than being aggressive. With intense energy like this, fortunately, the fire goes out pretty quickly, and you have now the foreknowledge to take the time necessary to be patient if you feel triggered. You won't be able to walk away from whatever shows up for you. It's going to require your full attention. So you can't take an indefinite rain check, in other words, because the dynamic nature of this T-square requires that you respond and act. Otherwise, you really feel it, and it won't feel that awesome, honestly. So however you can take the most high vibrational path in creating breathing room and coming into a place of neutrality, that's really the key, is the neutral sense where all parts of the equation can be felt and assessed at the same time. That's being so present that you are neutral, you're not polarized. Otherwise, you may feel, if you're polarized, the urge to be confrontational, aggressive, do the opposite of, the opposition between the two, do the opposite of what is actually helpful, or deliberately avoid a situation that needs to be resolved, which is passive aggressive, right? The aggressive would be the attack, the aggression, and the passive would be the deliberate avoidance and holding back, not revealing anything. So the good news is, after this period, around 21st, 22nd of May, we'll start benefiting from these two fire planets, Jupiter and Mars, moving into their new signs. Jupiter into Taurus on May 16th, Mars into Leo on May 20th. This means you'll feel more resilient because Jupiter is in Taurus, more fired up, more confident. Your light will shine with Mars in Leo. You will feel aligned with pleasure and goodness and simple living and natural living and the beauty of nature and getting grounded. And you'll lack a complete sense of fear. You'll be fearless, and you'll have a total sense of joy. So this is actually quite a stunning moment. As you can see, there is, in a sense, a fork in the road about how you will choose to experience this stunning T-square. And if you stay present and you put your faith in the divine intelligence, the divine timing, into listening to Source, your guides, Creator, you have an incredible opportunity to make some wonderful changes in your life that will accelerate a sense of goodness and beauty, pleasure, and fulfillment, and love, and joy, and peace. So take this time to make a commitment to your heart and to all things that are good in life, because goodness shall always prevail. And since Mars is so activated, this incredible go get it now fire planet of action, it's a really good time to get acquainted with Mars and also Mars's compatriot Venus. And you can do that in a free masterclass that I have, a wonderful masterclass at venusmarscode.com. And it's all about the great awakening of the divine feminine and sacred masculine within us. And it talks about the 5-pointed star of Venus, the 13 cycles of Venus, the move from aggression into assertion, so not being aggressive, lashing out, confronting, going to war, but being assertive. There's a big difference, and that's really being shifted right now. And we also look at the letters V and M for Venus and Mars, and the Mayan calendar and how it all ties into this big shift. There are tremendous cosmic changes in the world, and they're unfolding rapidly in this decade. And so this masterclass, which is free, it's really not to be missed. So go to venusmarscode.com, have an incredible mid-May season, and I'll be back next week to talk more about that incredible Taurus new moon, which happens at the time that this T-square is exact. So very exciting. It's a very positive new moon, so it brings some really nice balance. So have a beautiful, beautiful week, and I'll see you next week. Lots of love.